You all, I got so excited today because, David Grusch was speaking at the Capitol. I thought maybe he's going to say something that we don't know because I'm into the topic. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm really into the topic. And anyway, so I got so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, it's almost 1 o'clock, right? But I'm listening. And I mean, he said a couple things that, I had not heard before, like sentient, what did he say? Sentient plasmatic beings, like what is that, right? Like what is that? And bipedal, which, expected. But yeah, I mean, I was like, I was so excited, and then I'm like, all these people are speaking, like Luna and Burleson and Burchett. Come here. Come here. Come on. You gotta have attention. Oh my geez. Okay. Come here. So anyway, but yeah, so I got really excited about it, and I'm like, okay, well, what was the point of today? I know it was to pressure Trump into maybe, making it to where whistleblowers, have more protection and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would, to be honest with you, I think everybody who follows the subject is at the point now where they're just like, release it all already. I mean, Carl Nell's already came out and said we're not alone. He's like really high up. We've had a lot of people actually come out and say that we're not alone. And pretty much, I think the majority of people probably think, yeah, we're probably not. I mean, the universe is huge, huge. There's no way it's just us. I mean, look at us. We're pitiful. There's no way. So I think that, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like God created, if there's anything else out there, I feel like he created them too. And I wish they would just come out with it already. I mean, to be honest with you, I've been following this subject since Bob Lazar came out. It was like in the 80s. And I kind of wondered before he even came out, I was like, are we alone? But I grew up with like E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind was like my favorite ever. Oh, I love that movie. And it was so, like, the stories, he really studied it, Spielberg did, because I listened to a lot of the abduction stories, and he really got a lot of it, got a lot of the information, and you could tell he had looked up, the info and got it right. But yeah, I mean, Disclosure Day is getting ready to come out. I think it's Friday, and I've seen some reviews online about it, and some are like, nah, it's too long. It's not as good as Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I don't know. I got to see it myself. But yeah, I'm really into the topic, and I just, I was kind of bummed when I watched it today. I feel like, personally, this is just my opinion, I feel like that is the biggest story in history ever, that we are not alone. I mean, there's too many accounts. There's too many. The Ariel School incident, Rendlesham Forest, which is one of my favorites. There's too many. Betty and Barney Hill, So I really truly believe that we're not alone, and I wish that they would just come out and just say it. Maybe they would, if the Five Eyes, like if all, like President Trump and every other world leader would come out on stage together and say, ladies and gentlemen, we're not alone. Here's the evidence, whatever, here's the alien, whatever. Just, they need to go ahead and do it. And there's something going on with all these scientists missing. I'm sorry, but there is. It's too odd, and there's too many coincidences. So, I don't know. And then with everything, like with Grusch, Lou Elizondo, he's one of my favorites to listen to. And Grusch. They're all heroes. But they've all been threatened. And even Jeremy Corbell, like I loved his last episode he did, where, you know, he had the whistleblowers on the stage. If you haven't watched it, you have to check it out. You have to check out Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Area 52. Love that. You've got to check out, if you're into the topic. Eyes on Cinema, people. Eyes on Cinema. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You got to check that out on YouTube. But yeah, there's so many that I listen to. I listen to Stephen Diener. I've been listening to him since day one. He's really good. Gosh, I listen to it all the time. It's my favorite, and I can't even remember. It's UAP Alien Podcast or something. I don't know, but he's really good. Look him up, Stephen Diener. But yeah, I mean, we're not alone. I really feel we're not, and I just wish they'd come out. Anyway, my rant. I had to vent. You know, I was so excited today, and I was just like, what's new? You know, like, the only thing I could tell that he said that he hadn't said before was he was talking about the NHI. So they weren't really talking about the crafts themselves. They were more focused on the beings, which is more important. But I mean, there have been cases, if you look it up, there are cases where a lot of times, like with Travis Walton, okay, if you haven't seen Fire in the Sky, you have to see it. But with his case, when he was on the ship, there were the little grays, but then there were people that looked like us, but perfect. And this is just my opinion, because I've heard of that more than once. And I'm thinking, so what if there is another planet with people that look just like us, but better? Because they all look amazing, like 10, you know, like they're all beautiful, like the beautiful Nordics, whatever they are. But they look like us. And I'm thinking, if they're that advanced, then you know they've figured out the aging thing. I mean, I know it sounds out there, but when you really think about it and you start looking into abduction stories, and you start realizing that there are, a lot of times on the ship, there are people that look like us. But, you know, of course, like with Betty and Barney Hill, it was more, I guess, grays, that sort of reptilian, but grays. I don't know, kind of odd there, but, and I know it sounds crazy, but we can't be the only ones. And there's too many reports of the same stuff, you know? So, I don't know. I'm just venting. I mean, like, if you're into the topic, message down below. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I think about it all the time. Like, I'm really into the topic, though. So, and then you know, if you haven't looked into Tom DeLonge, check out that. You know, there's proof he was talking to Podesta about this kind of stuff. So, I don't know what is going on there. But you've got these main people, you know, like Hal Puthoff. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics, I think. I mean, brilliant man. You just got too many people that, you know, came out, and I don't know. Too many stories. And I do believe they have evidence. You know they do. So, and they're only putting out like, it may be a slow drip on purpose because they're only putting out like these little orb looking videos, when they have more. So, I mean, there's evidence of craft that has landed, and you'll see the marks in the yard where the grass doesn't grow for years. So you've got that. You've got the radar evidence. And then there's even this one guy, this was a long time ago, this case baffles me. He was a pilot. I think he was in the Air Force or something, I don't know. It was in Mexico, I think. It was somewhere, South America maybe. I forget his name, but you got to check that out. He was a pilot, and he was flying by himself, and he gets on and says that he sees a bogey, like he sees something, and he said it's not a plane. And he's like describing it, and then you hear this like metal, and that's it. He like vanished. Like he vanished. And I'm like, well, what's up with that? There's just too many stories of stuff like that. And the Betty and Barney Hill, I do believe that story because, this was in the 60s, and they were a biracial couple. And back then, they didn't want attention. They just didn't. It was different back in those days. It's not like today, so they didn't want the attention. So I do believe their story. And Travis Walton, how can you not believe that? I mean, there's witnesses. And he stuck to the same story, just like Bob Lazar. And, element 115, hello. So he said there was element 115 before they came out and said there was element 115. So it's like right in your face, really. Yeah, anyway. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out in the next couple weeks. I just figured I'd vent, Anyway, see you later. Bye.